We'll say is at one particular party, lots of big names. There was an artist there who said, "Hey, Lecrae, around 1 a.m., make sure you're not here. You just don't want to be here at 1 in the morning."
Bed. Party on the bed. Hey, mama said don't jump on the bed. We jumping.
Myth, or if this is true, but I'm told that when you go to a hotel, anytime you go to a hotel, you don't just check in the way everybody else does. You send someone ahead to prepare the hotel room for you.
No, it's called preparing the sexy.
Preparing the sexy?
Yeah.
What's preparing the sexy?
I mean, when I walk in, I definitely take pride in being the originator of the preparation of the.
Y'all, just when we thought we'd heard everything about Diddy's wild freak-off parties, new reports are surfacing that federal agents are now reaching out to witnesses to find out what really went down. And let me tell you, the details coming out are way darker and more disturbing than anything we've heard so far. We all know Diddy's parties were crazy, but this is on another level. Insiders are saying that the feds are building a case around these notorious events, and witnesses are stepping forward with some seriously sickening revelations, even by Hollywood standards. There are rumors of out-of-control behavior, some of it bordering on satanic rituals and just plain wrong. One man even posted a video on X claiming Diddy was using tapes from these freak-off sessions to blackmail some high-profile executives. But get this, before his video could gain traction, his entire account was wiped from X. Clearly, Diddy is just part of a much bigger situation, and it seems like some powerful people were involved in these freak-offs. Now that this info is coming to light, people are speculating that the execs Diddy may have blackmailed could try to Epstein him to keep it quiet. Y'all, this whole situation is terrifying, so stick with me. I'm about to spill all the details on what really went down at Diddy's freak-off parties.
And on my way upstairs, there's like this couch, and on the couch, I saw a couple of guys really going at it, hard and heavy. Man, and I was like, oh. As I started moving upstairs, I passed them up, and I noticed that it wasn't just those two guys, it was more and more people just going at it.
All right, y'all, let's get real for a second. I know a lot of people have been making jokes, memes, and sketches about Diddy's freak-offs and those 1,000 bottles of baby oil. But trust me, there is absolutely nothing funny about this situation. What we're seeing is a dark look into just how twisted and dangerous the industry can be. These powerful people, the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes, will do anything to satisfy their sick desires. And Diddy might just be one of many pawns in this whole game. Now, here's where things get even crazier. While Diddy's name is all over the headlines, it seems like there are much bigger players out there who are sweating bullets over what he might reveal. These high-profile figures are seriously panicking because if Diddy decides to talk, the fallout could be massive. And just recently, it was confirmed that Diddy is on watch at the Brooklyn jail where he's being held while awaiting trial for his alleged role in an extortion ring. According to the New York Post, his mental state is unclear, but they've put him on watch as a precaution. People are already comparing this whole situation to Jeffrey Epstein's case. Remember how Epstein was found dead in his jail cell after supposedly taking his own life? Yeah, nobody really believed that Epstein story. He had dirt on everyone, from celebrities to politicians, and we all know he was running some kind of dark, behind-the-scenes blackmail operation. He'd allegedly lure these high-profile people to his twisted parties, get them involved with underage individuals, and secretly tape the whole thing. He'd then use that footage for blackmail, though the details of what he got in return are still pretty shady. As for the motive, well, I can't get too deep into that here because YouTube will take this video down in a heartbeat. But if you dig into Epstein's background, his connections, and the roles his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell and her father played, you'll start to uncover which foreign intelligence agency Epstein was allegedly working for. Now, back to Diddy. The rumors swirling in the industry are wild. Word is, Diddy may have been pulling the same kind of moves as Epstein. Allegedly, his freak-offs weren't just wild parties. They could have been part of a much deeper, more disturbing blackmail operation. There's speculation that he was luring big names to these parties, getting them involved in shady situations, and then using that as leverage. With all these new details coming out, the industry is in a full-blown panic. The high-ups are terrified that if Diddy talks, it could expose a whole web of powerful people doing things they definitely don't want the public to know about. And the fact that Diddy is on watch is raising serious red flags. People are already saying that the same high-ups he's been blackmailing might try to pull an Epstein on him. So how do we really know that Diddy was running a blackmail operation? Well, technically, we don't know for sure, but there have been plenty of clues and hints dropped by various industry insiders that paint a pretty clear picture about those freak-off sessions. The scary part is that it seems like people are now being silenced for trying to expose the high-profile individuals who attended Diddy's parties. There was this user on X, going by the handle @_major420, who had been dropping hints about Diddy's parties long before Cassie filed her lawsuit back in November. This person, who apparently works in the music industry, would occasionally post about how he couldn't wait for Diddy and his music exec bosses to be exposed because the public has no idea just how dark the industry really is. You know how it goes. People are so brainwashed by wealth that anytime someone criticizes a rich celebrity, folks rush to defend them, accusing the critics of being broke or jealous. But now that Diddy's behind bars, the narrative is shifting, and people are digging up those old posts from people who have been trying to warn us about him for years. Anyway, after Diddy's arrest, this user, @_major420, came back on X and posted a video. In it, he claimed that when Diddy was just starting out in his career, he allegedly threw one of his infamous parties and invited all the top Jewish executives in the music industry. Here's where things take a dark turn. Rumor has it that Diddy spiked the drinks at one of his early parties with something that made everyone way too relaxed. Before long, the party spiraled into a full-blown orgy. But Diddy wasn't just there to party. The word is that he secretly recorded everything that happened that night and later used those tapes to blackmail the powerful execs who were there. Allegedly, this is how Diddy gained a lot of his early influence and power, by holding these recordings over the heads of these executives and using them as leverage to make major moves in the industry. Now, that user on X who posted the video claiming Diddy started blackmailing these executives, his entire account was removed by X and the video has completely disappeared from the internet. I tried to find it, y'all, but they buried it so quickly that no one even had a chance to screen record it. But if it pops up again, I'll be sure to update you. Even without that video, rumors about Diddy's blackmail parties have been floating around online for a while now. There's an independent journalist named Ian Carroll who shared several videos a few months back talking about Diddy's alleged blackmail ring. He claimed this kind of thing has been happening in Hollywood for decades, and y'all, this rabbit hole goes deep.
In order to understand this lawsuit against P. Diddy, you need to understand the history of blackmail. A lot of people in the comments are misunderstanding why rap music is so anti-gay. And a lot of people understand the ties of Israel and the Mossad to blackmail by Epstein, but a lot of people don't realize the ties of blackmail back to the invention of blackmail and the Jewish mob. So if you don't know what's going on, Diddy, one of the most influential people in the rap industry over the last 30 years, just got served this court case that alleged all kinds of crimes, including especially having all of his homes wired with cameras and hosting parties with underage girls, rappers, label executives, celebrities, politicians, and collecting sex blackmail on tons of important people. Like, we're talking Jeffrey Epstein level of operation, but in the music and entertainment industries. The FBI was founded by J. Edgar Hoover. He actually was the head of the Bureau of Investigation, the BOI, before the FBI was even invented back in the 20s. And he served there for 11 years. Then they invented the FBI and he served as the head of the FBI for 37 years, totaling 48 years leading what was more or less the FBI. So we're talking like all the way from like the Great Depression through World War II into like the 60s. Like through the 60s music revolution into the 70s. All of that time period, the FBI was led by the same person, and he was one of the most corrupt government officials in all of US history. And understanding the state of organized crime and of law enforcement in America is impossible if you don't know about J. Edgar Hoover. And understanding the nature is impossible if you don't know about Meyer Lansky, who was a boss in the Jewish mob back in the 30s, 20s, like the Prohibition days and so on. Meyer Lansky, this Jewish mob boss, basically invented the concept of blackmail. And he did it blackmailing J. Edgar Hoover. the guy who was explicitly supposed to be taking guys like Meyer Lansky down. The Wikipedia articles are sanitized, but basically Meyer Lansky had a photo of J. Edgar Hoover using his mouth on his main assistant, Clyde Tolson. Realistically, it was his boyfriend. They were a couple. But then, once Hoover was blackmailed, he was like, how much worse could it get? And so he started hosting blackmail parties in collusion with these mobsters and inviting all sorts of important people to these blackmail parties to collect his own blackmail. This all happened in what was called the Blue Suite at the Plaza Hotel. And it was basically a bunch of male cross-dressing all caught on camera for like a decade or more. And because Hoover was already blackmailed by the most powerful gangsters in the world, like he just went and hosted them, and everybody got blackmail on everybody. But the critical piece to understanding the gay aspect of rap music today and the whole situation back with Hoover is that at the time, remember, Cold War, McCarthyism, like we got to get rid of all the communists. There was what was called the Lavender Scare, which is basically just saying that they were all really worried that gay people would get blackmailed by the Soviet Union. And so it wasn't good to be gay, because if you were gay, you could get blackmailed because you wouldn't want anyone to know you were gay. And so don't be gay. And so you should be ashamed of being gay. And so then they'll blackmail. It's like, see, it's like a big circle of how the one creates the other, creates the other, creates the other. Yeah, now think about rap music. All the rappers are super hard and like gay people suck, and then like a bunch of them are gay and they're getting blackmailed about it, and so they rap more about how they're hard and gay people suck, and it creates this little circle. Yeah, the blackmail industry learned early on back in the Cold War that it is much easier to do blackmail in a culture of anti-gayness, because gayness is not wildly uncommon. Lots of people are gay. But the more you can stigmatize it and make it a taboo, the more they have to hide it, and the more easy it is to exploit it when you offer this taboo thing to the people that want it. And then the stronger your power over them is when you have them on film doing it. You feel? So, back to our boy Diddy, who founded his record label when he was only 24 years old. Became one of the most successful record labels of the time. He was able to do that because he was financed and supported by his mentor. And he found this guy, Diddy, on the up and up in one of his companies, who we now know from this lawsuit and the other lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend Cassie, which is horrific, disgusting, not a good read. We know that Diddy has some real effed up proclivities, as well as just generally probably being at least gay or bi, one of the two. Finds this guy with questionable morals, questionable habits, and ready to go crazy haywire, whatever. Like, he's willing to shoot people, he's willing to launder money, he's willing to do crazy, he's willing to do basically anything. This is just me speculating on his motivations, but mentored Diddy and brought him up and elevated him to a record executive by helping him found his label, Bad Boy Records. He did that. And then Diddy, along with a lot of help from a lot of other people all around him, proceeded to do 30 years worth of blackmail operations within the rap industry and promoted artists that seem to have been ensnared in it, like Usher, for example, like Meek Mills. Hell, even Justin Bieber is like directly in this storyline. And so what you wind up with is a rap industry, a music industry that is full of people that are creating the types of music that the people above them, that the people that hire them, that the people that manage them want them to make. They're all terrified of stepping on the wrong toes or getting out of line or doing what they're not supposed to for one blackmail reason or the other. And we wind up with an entire industry full of musicians that are glorifying gangs and violence and sex and drugs. I mean, think about it. There's no better way to undermine an entire population, an entire race, an entire culture, than to target their kids with subversive messages that they're gonna think is cool, and the parents can't say shit about it because then the kids will just think it's cooler.
I've been telling y'all Diddy and that baby oil are just the tip of the iceberg. It looks like behind all this drama with Diddy is a whole network of powerful people involved in some seriously dark stuff. And let's be real, we've probably only scratched the surface of what really goes down at those freak-off parties. If even half the rumors are true, what we've heard so far is nothing compared to what's yet to be revealed. So, let me know how you feel about all these new stories coming out about Diddy's freak-offs. Is Diddy really the next Epstein? Do you think he'll live to tell the tale and expose the higher-ups he was allegedly blackmailing? Drop your comments below and stick around for the next video.